This video is now in session, and you read that right. The New York court Dems gave the GOP a House majority. If you look at the current congressional map, this video was made as of November 13th, so it might have been updated from now. But here you see we project that Republicans win 219 House seats, and that at most they would get 221 House seats. So 221 is their majority, right? And if you look at New York, the state of New York, Republicans were able to flip a record amount of seats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 districts. 2 from Long Island, 3 from upstate New York. And that, if you subtract using math from 221, that's less than 218 Republican seats, which would be the amount that the party would have needed to win the House. So, yeah, you can say that the New York court Dems essentially gave the House, the GOP, a majority. Now, how did this come to be? Initially, Democrats had a gerrymander map on the line under Andrew Cuomo's administration, and this was based off of a New York loophole where they had initially the assembly and or I guess the assembly would have to. It would not be the assembly control and redistricting, but rather a commission that would draw a fair map. And that's what they did. If we go to that map, they produced several plans, a letters plan and a names plan. And both of these were pretty fair. If you look here, 0.8% efficiency gap in favor of the Democratic Party. So you can see here that these maps were pretty favorable. But New York had a loophole as always, and the Democrats were able to get a gerrymander through by not letting the commissions, basically letting the commission expire its time and requiring that process to be transferred to the state assembly and the state senate, and that's how they produced this kind of map, which would have flipped 3 Republican-leaning districts towards the Democratic Party. You can see here, for example, New York's 22nd district, D plus 13 initially was D plus 4. Here you can see these two, they remain relatively unchanged, but I mean, it goes from Republican and even to Democratic lean. And you also have Long Island. This district flips from Republican to Democratic. And then you have these two districts that become a little bit more Democratic than they used to be, especially New York's 3rd district. And then finally, you had New York's 11th district that went from R plus 13 to an astounding D plus 7. So, yeah, obviously this was a gerrymandered map. I mean, come on. If you look at New York's 10th district, this is such a gerrymandered map. You can make the argument that, oh, it was to connect Jewish communities, but look at those twists and turns that were needed in order to get that situation done. It was not only because they were trying to connect Jewish communities in Brooklyn and with the West Side. It was because of gerrymandering. And the New York court Dems recognized this. Now they had 2 options. They could have been corrupt, as New York almost always is, and just side with the Democratic Party by using some kind of BS reasoning, or surprisingly, they overturned this map and were actually more democratic for the nation. And what happened was that they overturned this map, and then they chose a new map from from this drawer. I believe his name is Stephen Dunn. I'm not quite sure, but ultimately, you had this map, which was much fairer than the New York Democrats' map. But what that meant was that New York's 22nd district, it became much less clear for the Democratic Party. New York's 19th district stayed Republican, and then here in Long Island, you had New York's 3rd district actually become more competitive. You had New York's 1st district stay Republican, and then New York's 11th district also stayed Republican. So what that meant was that Democrats were missing out an opportunity in this district, and then they were also in jeopardy in this district, this district, this district, this district, this district. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 districts right there that they were in jeopardy in, and it turns out they lost in 4 of them, and they even lost in a district that they were supposed to win. And then you had New York's 1st district and 11th district could have gone to the Democratic Party, but it turns out they didn't, and that was because of the New York Supreme Court. So that's the end of this video. Hope you enjoyed it. This video is now adjourned, and I'll see you in the next one.